welcome back for our second video for our ministry teams here at Osco Community Church. I hope you enjoyed the first one. I hope you enjoy this one and get a lot out of it. We're talking about on this one, how do we apply all that we looked at last time? Okay, we know our mission. We know what we're here for. We're here to know Him, to make Him known, and to share His love. Okay, how does that apply to my ministry? How does that apply to what I'm doing here? We're going to look at that a little bit. We're going to talk about how can we be strategic about this? Because what's easy to do, what a lot of churches fall into, what we even used to do here at Osco, is when we're coming to a new year, we just kind of look at the budget and we say, well, we spent $500 here. We were budgeted for $600, so well, that's about close enough. Let's just leave it $600 for the next year. And that's about as far as we go with planning for the new year. But we need to be strategic. When you don't know where you're trying to go, you're probably going to end up somewhere else, wherever you were thinking you should be going. And if we're not focused, pulling all together in the same direction, we're going to end up pulling in all sorts of different directions. It's like the kids pulling on that tug of rope line. Unless they're all pulling in sync, all in the same direction, if some are pulling this way or that way or up or down or every 2 seconds versus every 3 seconds versus every 5 seconds, it's going to be a mess. And you see that sometimes in churches where somebody has a passion for this, somebody else has a passion for that, and they just go for it. But we need to come together. Yes, God may have given you that passion and that drive, but we need to be able to work together, be on the same team, to be able to all be pulling in the same direction. So that's why it's essential that we evaluate, what are we doing? What are we doing in our different areas of ministry? And how can we be strategic? And how can we focus on what God has called us to do in those areas in this new year? I'm excited for not only looking back at what we've done, and giving thanks to God for how He has worked in this last year. I hope that's a part of your evaluation process. But also looking ahead and saying, God, what do you want us to do with our area of ministry? What are you calling us to? How can we live out this mission better in our area of ministry? And I hope that that is a question that is going to be just echoing in your heart as you go through this process. And hopefully the worksheet that has been provided will help you with some questions to be able to think through these different things and issues. But we need to be careful with all that God has given us. We have a great opportunity here at our church. So we want to be good stewards of that. We want to be intentional about what God has given us in the different areas. And so I would encourage you, first and foremost, as you sit down with your ministry team, those others that are serving with you, that you think through the past year, that you question, okay, ask some good questions of, okay, what are we doing in our ministry? Make sure you're all aware of what you're doing in that area of ministry. Maybe you all aren't aware of that. And so get on that page first. What are we doing in our ministry? What are the different areas that we're involved in? What are the different ministries that we're doing, the different programs we're offering, the different ways to serve that we have? Okay, what are we doing? And then I think a second great question is to ask, okay, why are we doing that? You know, we're doing this, we're doing that. Why are we doing that? And why are we doing it that way? It's essential to be able to think through and be intentional about that, to not just assume that, well, we're just doing what we're doing and whatever we're doing, we'll do. We need to ask, okay, why are we doing it that way? Is this something that we find in Scripture that, okay, this is the reason we do it this way? Or is this something that, well, this is just kind of the tradition of how we've always done it? That can be a good thing, but that can also be maybe a sacred cow that, well, maybe we really need to reevaluate that. And maybe we need to slaughter that cow and have some burgers. They're yummy. And so we need to think through, what are we doing? Why are we doing it? Particularly, why are we doing it this way? And we also need to ask, okay, what are we hoping to accomplish with what we're doing? And is it accomplishing that? That's kind of the questions we need to ask when we're looking back. Okay, what are we doing? Why are we doing it? And what are we hoping to accomplish? How has our ministry area accomplished or achieved or supported our mission as a church? How has our ministry area been a part of the mission of what we're doing to know Him, to make Him known, and share His love? How have we seen our ministry doing that in this last year? And so I think that's a great place to start when you're looking at evaluating where we've been and what has happened in this last year. As you look then to the new year, as you start to plan and think out, okay, what's to come? I hope then you're thinking through, okay, how can our ministry do better with accomplishing our mission, with supporting others who are doing our mission? We ask too, is there something that we need to change so that we can accomplish our mission better? Is there something that maybe we need to change in order to meet our goals? We need to ask, what are the aspects of our mission statement that we are really feeling keyed in on, that God is calling us to this, to that? And so we need to think through strategically these questions. How do we feel like God is calling us to serve in this new year, rather than just, well, this is what we've done, or this is what we've budgeted, so we'll just do that. Our question shouldn't be, how much money do we have? Our question should be, what is God calling us to do? Because that is what matters. If God is calling us to do something, even if it's a big step of faith, He is going to supply what is needed. And so our question needs to be over and over again, what is God calling us to do? How can we apply our mission to our particular areas of ministry? How can we, through our area, make Him known better? How can we, through our area, continue to support those who know Him and who are striving to know Him more? How can we, through our ministry area, share His love and be fostering that in our community and in our church? And so just to give you some for instances of how this applies, for example, for our men's ministry, you could say, when we're looking at our goals for the new year, well, our goal is helping men to know Him through Scripture, training, discipleship, and mentoring. And so that's could be a goal for our men's ministry. And with that goal, of course, they're going to have some different objectives in order to meet that goal. They're going to say, well, we're going to have this Bible study in the fall. We're going to have some accountability groups maybe start. We're going to maybe do some discipleship, intentional discipleship happening. And so they can have some different objectives with that. Another goal for our men's ministry could be giving men the opportunity to come together, encourage one another, spur each other on toward being faithful husbands, fathers, and men. And so again, we'll have different objectives that go with that. Another, for instance, for missions, a goal that they could have would be to support our missionaries in making Christ known through partnering with them prayerfully, financially, and relationally, through prayer updates, yes, through financial contributions, but also relationally, writing them encouraging emails or letters. They are people that need our support, not just financially, not just through prayer support. They need that absolutely, but they need that relationally as well. And so there's some other for instances in your notes there that you can look at, and you can dig into those. But as we're thinking through who we are trying to reach as well, we need to kind of think strategically about that too, to not just throw stuff out there to kind of, well, we should do this, and I think it's a good idea, but who are we really trying to reach with these different ministries that we do, with these different events that we want to do, with these different programs that we want to offer? Because different programs, different events, different studies are going to reach different people. And so here's a great graphic to kind of show you that. And determining our target audience is something that's important to think through when we're thinking through our mission and how we apply it to our different ministries. There's the core, there's the committed core of those who are members here, those who are serving here, those who are already very much involved. We need to make sure we are caring for them and helping to grow them when it comes to knowing Him, making Him known, sharing His love. There's also the level of the congregation, those who are members, but maybe there's some that are members but aren't super involved. They come to church, but they're not super involved. What are some events? What are some opportunities for ministry that can reach them, that can impact them? There's the crowd, going another ring out further. Those that would call Osco Church their home. Maybe they come every once in a while, or maybe they came a few years ago, but they still kind of associate with us a little bit. But there's a lot different focus for that group of people than for the committed core. For the committed core, you can go a lot deeper in your studies. You can go more in depth. But for the crowd, or especially going even further out for the community, that's our mission field. That's those that we need to reach with the gospel. These are where they're not Christians, or they're not mature Christians, and so we need to reach them on a different level. For example, we could teach a Bible study on the book of Judges, and there's some great lessons that are in there. It's a great book, but that is not an evangelistic great opportunity for our community to say, hey, come for a Bible study on the book of Judges. That's more for the core, for the congregation. But we also need to take care and give opportunity for Bible studies that are going to meet some more felt needs, where they can say, well, here's a class on parenting for our crowd and community when it comes to our AWANA program. That's a great opportunity for them to learn, whereas they might come in and drop off their kids and see that there's a Bible study in the book of Judges and say, no thanks. Whereas parenting, hey, well, maybe I could learn something there. So it's a good opportunity to be able to connect with some felt needs there. And so again, another aspect of thinking through different goals that we have for our ministries, of who are we targeting with that. And so we want to be strategic with that. Your secret word for this video is buttercup. So if you want to jot that down in your worksheet, buttercup is the second secret word. And so we want to ask some key questions when we're talking about our ministries. And yes, you're going to get the report from this last year from Louise, hopefully, on what you've spent and where you've spent it. And I hope you take a look at that. You evaluate, okay, what have we done? What's working? But also to prayerfully consider, what is God calling us to do as a ministry? How can we be strategic with what God has given us so that we can make Him known, so that we can share His love, so that we can grow in knowing Him more and more? And so I hope that you've gotten some things, learned some things from our time together. If you have any questions, of course, you can talk to me, email me, text me, call me, whatever. And look forward to not only what we rejoice in from this last year, but looking ahead to the new year and seeing what God is going to do. Okay, now look at the camera. Say hi.
Hi.
No, look at the camera.
Hi.
Hi. How you doing?
Do you have to say the?
Yeah.
Cha-cha,
Cha-cha, cha-cha, cha-cha. You want to say hi? Come here. I don't think they can see you down there. Ooh, ooh, ooh.